welcome back to the channel. And today I'd like to talk about what I call the third phase of consciousness, or the third evolutionary phase of consciousness. And this has been communicated to me very, very clearly in recent months. And many other teachers and people that are involved in human potential, magic, alchemy, philosophy, and even science, certain aspects of science are beginning to refer to this possibility that I believe is now potentializing within our reality. Now, on the outside, of course, the world doesn't seem to be reflecting much in the way of potentialization. But let me just go back and explain a little bit about what this is all about, and really how you can immerse yourself in this new possibility and bring this new possibility to life for yourself, and in so doing bring that new possibility to life in the world in general. And goodness knows we really need a new possibility now, don't we? So if we go back to the dawn of humanity, which isn't really what we're told in the His story books, many, possibly even hundreds of thousands of years, maybe even millions of years prior to what we're told, civilizations arised on the earth. And these civilizations were what we could describe as magical civilizations, magical cultures. In other words, they were immersed in a magical reality. The overriding reality or characteristic or form of their reality was one of magic. And I'm not referring to like David Copperfield kind of magic. I'm referring to the fact that the world itself showed up for them and was interacted in a magical way. So, nature, objects, what we would call objects, had consciousness. Now, some people call this in philosophy panpsychism, but really it's more of an animistic way of looking at things. In other words, everything was immersed in a form of magical consciousness, and there was a dynamic conversation between nature and human beings, animals and human beings. So we saw the world in terms of these magical possibilities and these magical realities that unfolded. Now, as we progressed, in order to cope with different forms of climatic change and the geographical movement around the earth to different parts that demanded a different form of survival strategy, that magical form slowly became less until we reached a point. I mean, some people say it was like something like 500 BC, but it can be noted very specifically around the time of Galileo, and where essentially the whole idea of consciousness was written out of how we describe reality. So it was basically the mathematical form of description couldn't describe or couldn't tell us anything about consciousness, and therefore the mystery of life, the mystery, the magical, the mystery sense of being was relegated to something that was just a fantasy of no value, no actual real value. And so from there on, we've progressed out of that magical world until we've kind of reached the zenith of that now. And that zenith looks pretty much like the reality that is playing out in the world. It plays out through our language. It plays out through the way we describe things, the way we bring this reality into being. So in many ways, you could say that this casting out from the magical, the spirit, the spiritual. So, we can interlace these words, magical, spiritual, Yeah, because even those words have been written out of our way of talking about things, relegated to kind of nonsense in a way. So when you say to someone something about magical, they immediately think of Harry Potter or something like that. Now, when I'm talking about magical, I'm really talking about this dynamic, interactive connection with nature, with reality. Yeah, so we bring things to life in a different way. We move through the world in a very different way. So our bodies, our way of interacting with life is done through a magical form. Yeah. Now, I will talk more about this in other videos, but a clue to all of this is really language, sound, light, water, and just this sense of the kinesthetic sense of how we actually exist in the world. So there's many things to talk about, but not in this video. So really, once we've reached this kind of zenith of the logical, pragmatic way of looking at our reality, and this idea of the magical written out of it, and in the magical reality, there's an innate knowing. There's a sense of majesty around nature, around reality, around other human beings. And it's difficult to really, for us, born into the culture and reality and the context that we have been, it's very difficult sometimes for us to really imagine even a time, a possibility where this majesty of being human, the majestic sovereignty and the wonder and the magic of being in a human existence was something that was honored. And it was a collective honoring, a collective understanding of the intrinsic beauty and value of each human being. So from where we're at now, it seems almost impossible that we could even have a world like that. Now, the second phase, like I said, is where the rational, the logical overrides the magical. Now, the third phase of consciousness that I'm speaking about here is really, it's not guaranteed, by the way. It is a potential, it is a possibility. It's something that is, in a sense, now I feel very strongly the kind of beta version of that is available. It's becoming more and more apparent in the things that are unfolding in for individuals and on a grander scale. And it shows up as a reluctance to accept the downgraded version of reality that we are served up. And this sense of knowing, this sense of longing for something more, something greater, something more magical, something infused with the beauty and wonder of existence. This longing for that, this longing itself is a signal that some other possibility is trying to come through, is making itself known to us. And this is the work I'm doing with the guiding light, the idea that the very nature of light that shows up in our world is a communication, is telling us that there's something mysterious, something unknown, something that our rational minds cannot wrap around and corral into a theory. There's something more wishing to be expressed. And now there's the possibility of us moving back into a more magical reality. That doesn't mean we throw away all of the scientific things that we've discovered and all of that. It really unfolds a little bit like the philosopher Ken Wilber described when he talked about holons or holons. So the idea is that every level includes but transcends the other. So this new form of consciousness that is, I just sense that so many people are picking up on this now. And that's how you know that it's becoming a possibility, that it's time for this new phase of consciousness, this new understanding, this new way of us living and showing up. There's kind of like a tingling in the body. There's a tingling in the mind. There's a sense of something wanting to be communicated. And if we're able to look at this and tune into it and make ourselves available for it, this is the most important thing, to make ourselves available, to bring ourselves into alignment with it. Yeah. So it's a new form of magic, and it's a new form of logic, and it won't be like the one we had previously, or even just the original magic one. This will be a different evolution of magic itself. So we will be able to immerse ourselves in a world where, again, we can see clearly the wonder of a human existence, the wonder of animals. And we will come to a point where the cruelty in the world will be diminished, because we won't be able to allow this to even manifest in our everyday activities. So we will cease to have any energy to put forth to bring disagreement. So we will use our words and our actions to bring a sense of magic. So this is really like alchemy. So we will use our faculties, we will use our very being itself to enhance the world, to bring beauty to life. And like I've talked about in other videos, like this idea of singing and speaking the things that no longer serve us out of existence, the vibrational quality, the evocation of light within us that will push out the things that no longer serve us and allow the things that will allow us to flourish, to come through more and more. You see, the way things are at the moment, it's like our wings are weighed down with lead, and we have to come to a point where we open ourselves to this new possibility. It's a radical new possibility, yeah? The thing is that as we open to it, as we connect with it, as we stop disbelieving in the very nature of this possibility, it will begin to open up. And the more of us that open up to this, the more of us that connect and understand that the very nature of our being, the electrical nature of our being, the light nature of our being, that our bodies are musical instruments to be played, that our words can bring beauty and wonder into existence. We can speak a new world into existence through our languages, the way we use languages, the way we interact on a daily basis with the people we love, our neighbours, the people in the shop, everywhere. Just, it seems trivial to begin with, but the very smallest inclination that we are shifting to this comes from our everyday interactions, our everyday showing up in the world. Now, the context of magic will unfold for us naturally, but we have to allow ourselves to just be in a position to be open to it. And when it shows up and gives us the opportunity to act in a certain way, to take a pause before we react to things, and understand that we are at our deepest core magical spiritual beings. And all of the things, all of the fears, that are feeding this current culture. Yeah, we will start, really the thing is that this whole thing starts to come about the more we see through the illusion that we've been served up. Now, there's no blame on this. It's the way things have turned out. And yet the way things have turned out could almost, or very possibly, run us completely over the edge of the cliff. And we're kind of at that point. And I think we all sense that now. And it's time for us to come back together to realize that there's a much higher potential that wishes nothing more than to come through, to talk about this in a way. In fact, in my meeting last night, Guiding Light meeting, we even spoke about how the idea that the real essence of being human is to flourish, our personalities to flourish, our actions to flourish, like a fruiting tree, to flower and give fruit. And the fruit, our fruit, is through our ideas, our art, the beauty and the real wonder of being a human being. And there is no limit to this in a way. Even this next layer of consciousness, next phase of consciousness, next evolutionary phase, there's untold other ones beyond that. And who knows how many other beings in the universe have reached that. And that is our birthright, our potential. But it's an unfolding to keep exploring. But we must come to a point where we understand that the message is clear, that the possibility is alive now, but it's not guaranteed. Because on the macro level, nature is infinitely patient. And if we don't get it, then it will wait for the next crop of beings to get it. Yeah, on a micro level, we can sense that possibility is alive now. And so we have to come to the point where we reintroduce the wonder of art and the magic of art and turn our lives into works of art, turn this world into beautiful works of art. It is coming to the beautification of our lives and the world. And the more we can step up for this, the more we can sense this, the more we can beautify our existence and open to this, it will start to come through. And a little bit like my card, the Ten of Swords, we kind of are at that point in my Starman Tarot. The way I've depicted the Ten of Swords is the kind of, literally the destruction of this old sense of who we are. And out of that destruction, that discomfort, comes a new, enriched being, a more diverse, a more open, a more creative, a more artistic, a more articulate, a more adventurous, a more courageous being starts to be shaped out of those old original materials. This is the alchemy, to take the lead that we are and turn that lead into spiritual and physical gold. I don't mean the metal gold. I mean literally we infuse ourselves with the golden light of our consciousness. We allow the light of our consciousness to shine out into the world. And that shining out is a declaration of beauty, a declaration of wonder again, and a declaration of curiosity, of childlike curiosity for life. Now, with a childlike curiosity, the world becomes a vast possibility. It's like the world becomes a game in which we can play and explore and create in. But it comes home to each of us now in this time has the opportunity to step into this new possibility. And the way you step into it is to start acknowledging that within you there is a light of something astonishing. And this light of something astonishing, this is not something like out of a textbook. It comes from your own radiant sense of being. You have a radiant sense of existence within you, an exuberant sense of existence that's been covered over by layers and layers of beliefs that you didn't even come up with. You were born into them. It's like an old shack that's been literally put together by bits of stuff that have drifted down the river. None of us came up with this. We were born into it. And now, through our art, through our words, through our creativity, another possibility is making itself available. And we have to come to this in a way with openness, with a sense of courage, because letting go of the old way of doing things, no matter how uncomfortable it is, it's familiar discomfort. And we even hold on to familiar discomfort. And now we're at a time where we must step forward with courage. We must see that this inner illumination is the wellspring of courage. The courage to speak our truth, the courage to declare the kind of wonderful, beautiful things that we want. And the declaration, the act of declaration, is using our restrictive language and returning that to a magical form of language. When we declare what we are about, when we declare what reality we are creating, it opens the world up. It shifts the world to a new level. It shifts us to a new level. We start to see this in our physical manifestation, the manifestation of greater vitality, greater health, greater vision to envision the world that we want to create. And this is things that we can teach to our children. Yeah, we can bring it to life for them. Yeah, not allow them. In other words, we don't allow them to be sunk into the mire of dis-ease and discomfort and fear that would wish to weigh us down. So we remove the weight from their wings. We allow them to fly. We allow them to flourish. We do everything to allow this flourishing. We allow ourselves to flourish. So it's the declaration. We declare who we are. We declare what we stand for. And we have the courage to step forward, even when things seem difficult, to create that beauty, to bring that beauty to life for us, for everyone. So thanks for watching, and I will go more into this in later videos. And really it's about how we move into this third phase, how you can orientate yourself to really come into this and live a kind of life that is a deep expression of the magical wonder that you are. So thanks for watching. I'll see you again. Don't forget to like and subscribe. More people that connect to this message now, we build an energy in the world. It's like this wellspring of us coming together around this message, around this possibility, and allowing this third phase of consciousness to manifest through each and every one of us. So thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.